then God saw everything that he had made, and indeed it was very good. So the evening and the morning were the sixth day. Now, in this, we can also know that God is an omniscient God, and knowing everything, and knowing God, an all-knowing God. So in this sense, the Bible of the God know everything. He has known everything, and he has, and is in his infinite power, he has been able to create everything. So nothing is going to put him back, or nothing is going to let him regret what he has done. You know, he's a very wise and sensible man, a very great God. He can't do mistakes in any way of his life. Okay, so let us always have this in our mind, knowing what we are dealing with, or what kind of God we are dealing with. So from the very beginning, it is revealing God in the book, as in the introduction said in 2 Corinthians 3:6. It says what? God is in the beginning, God is in the middle, God is in the end of it. It says what? The letter kills, but what? The Spirit gives life. So we are trying to sort of follow through to see how the letter kills and how the Spirit can give us life. Now we can only blend these things when there is truth in the explanations or our understanding will sort of generate for us. So we have to be very critical and very careful about these words and how the explanation will go. So lend me your ears as I continue from Genesis chapter 2, which also reveals that as a result, that thus the heavens and the earth and all the hosts of them were finished. And on the seventh day, God ended his work which he had done, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had done. Then God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because in it he rested from all his work which God had created and made. Okay, because in it he rested from all his work which God had created and made. Now then God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because in it he rested from all his work which God had created and made. Now we can see from here that it's a little bit of God using a few number of days, creating this huge, magnificent world that we live in, this big universe, in just 6 days or 7 days. That is something to really think through. But as we have read, he is an omnipotent God. He has an unlimited power, and such a power, he's capable of anything. So it won't be a mystery to think that he did this in 7 days. He can do it even in 3 days if he chooses to. So let's continue from there to see where we end up. Then in 3, then in 4, in chapter 2 verse 4, this is the history of the heavens and the earth when they were created, in the day that the Lord God made the earth and heavens. Before any plant of the field was, the field had, before the earth, and before any herb of the field had grown, for the Lord God had not caused it to rain on the earth, and there was no man to till the ground, but the mist went up from the earth and watered the whole face of the ground. Now it's giving us a little bit details of the chapter 1, which how there wasn't any rain coming onto the earth. There was no rain actually. It was basically something to do with some sort of the river or lake or some water flowing through to water the gardens and the herbs. And there wasn't any man there to till the place, and how detailed God has to create man in his own image, or in the image of the likeness of what they wanted man to be in that sin so that they can get somebody to sort of till the place, weed the place, or somehow take care of the garden. And exactly that is what happened. And it reveals somehow God, deep sleep came onto Adam. God created man, and then man fell, and he put deep sleep on the man because man was feeling alone, or somehow God felt that man had to be with a companion. And so God then created a woman to be his companion. This is, as we said, the omniscient God, the omnipotent God, exhibiting his attributes, his great, his powers and his abilities. And that is what was happening here. And flesh of my flesh shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. Now this is a man, Adam, trying to sort of define his companion or his spouse at that moment, to see her as the same person as he is, flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone. Okay, welcoming the woman to be a part of his life, and that was it. Till it went to sort of the two of them living their life on the garden, till chapter 3. Now somehow it shows that there was a personal relationship between man and his God, according to the Bible and the presentation here. Now the serpent was more cunning than any other. This is chapter 3, where the animal comes into place. The animal, or the snake, has been seen as a cunning creature. Now is now seen in the picture as one who is going to deceive the woman to sort of disobey, to sort of end up disobeying God, making the woman disobey God, and then ending up that the man had to disobey God, and they all end up disobeying God and doing the contrary, because God put them there, and God specifically told them not to do certain things like eating of a fruit in the garden. Now this fruit that is being stated that they are not meant to eat from this fruit was something which came from God himself, who told them that, okay, if they eat this thing, they will end up dying, and they shouldn't really go to eat the fruit. Now, whether God was telling them the truth or not, I can't, the Bible didn't state that. At the end of the day, why would he lie in the first place? But we also can think of it as God is very much knowing exactly what was going to happen in the future. So we must always think also ahead that God is an omniscient God, and he all knowing all things. So whatever from chapter 3 was going to happen, God must have known. God must have known that Adam and Eve were going to eat the apple. God must have known that Adam and Eve would have eaten the apple. God must have known that the snake was cunning and he would deceive the woman. God must have known that somehow one way or the other they would reject his love, or his sort of orders, his rule, his views, or whatever it is that he has told them not to do, But in this case, it does not show here, or does not reveal, the pages does not reveal from this section or this, or maybe some other, from whichever section, that God was showing his omniscience in this sense. Now, am I saying it out of my head? No. Everybody can go through the chapters and find out for themselves that as you read through here, you go to chapter 3, it says, now the serpent was that cunning, beast of the field, the Lord God had made. And he said to woman, God made the serpent to be very cunning as well. So it's not like somebody else created the snake. The snake was formed and created by God.